Kainui.
Mare katoa tātou ka whai wāhi mai ia. Ki te kōrero kia koutou kia tātou e tēnei ahi Regan, Balzer. How are you going this afternoon?
Kia ora Atawhai. Awesome.
Kia ora. Wow, you have made the finalists for the Kingii Tuheitia Portraiture Award on 123 entries, 50 finalists. You're going to an exhibition next week. How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty excited actually. Because I'm based in Wellington, we actually just kind of went for a little walk today on a scooter and popped over to the Portrait Gallery, and they were in full swing setting up the artworks in the space. It was amazing. The artworks are amazing.
How o kare aroto I tēnei wā nei?
I tēnei wā he koa I te mea kei ko taku kuia. Tei te wai tai atu ki te ra whakāturanga kia tiro haere. I te kaha mene mai ia me tana koa kei ko ia. Ko taku kuia te mea I peito I roto te pikitia. So I painted my great-grandmother, Huhana Smith, Huhana Hunt. And yeah, she was actually glowing when I saw her at the exhibition space and looked really happy. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
While we talk about your kuia right now, can you give everyone at home a little bit of information on no whia koe, no whia tō ruruhi, no whia tō kuia hoki?
Well, tupu ake au I rotorua, no te Arawa hau, no Tuheirangi. Ko taku kuia tētai ho ngā kai arahi turehi ki whakarewarewa. So my great-grandmother, Huhana, who isn't alive anymore, and I actually never met her, she was one of the first registered guides alongside Guide Rangi and my other grandmother, Guide Ellen, at Whakarewarewa Thermal Village. And so her main mahi was to manaaki and tiaki. So while I was painting her, actually, she just, at one point, she came to life and started emanating this real loving energy. And so it was beautiful just to spend time with her and actually be in her presence in my sitting room when I was painting her. So ko tira, but Huhana actually wasn't from Te Arawa. Her mother was one of the songbirds from the Horota waka. And when Ngāpuhi did the raids and they went over that side, they actually took the songbirds and took them up north because they were renowned for their beautiful waiata. So her mother was one of the songbirds from the Horota waka. And yeah, then her mother married Captain Johnson. And apparently they were renowned for sailing around the Auckland harbour. They were quite renowned sailors. And Huhana was the child from those two, yeah. So she married a Rudolph in the far north, actually, and had children. And then she left the north and settled in Te Arawa and married Thomas Hunt, who was Tuheirangi, who was from Te Arawa. Yeah, so quite a colourful little journey. And what's beautiful is that all these different tupuna who are at this exhibition actually get their stories told. So my great-grandmother was quite a quiet, kuia, and wasn't one to sing her own story. So I think that's quite true for a lot of the tupuna who are in this exhibition. Their stories are finally being told. And they're all in this huge space together, 50 artworks, yeah. So I can't wait to actually be there and sit with these different tupuna images. And there's carvings, there's paintings, drawings, there's a korowai there. So there's a vast array of portraiture. So actually it's pushing the boundaries of what we view as portraiture, especially as Māori. And we know that our taonga, embodies our tupuna and it takes on its own mauri. So there's going to be a lot of interesting and nice conversations come from having this exhibition because it is a first. And when we think about the Portrait Gallery, it has a long history in European or mainstream portraiture, which comes with a whole lot of different kaupapa, and one of them is that a lot of non-Māori are celebrated for painting Māori. We just think of Lindau, we think of Goldie, so we've often been the subjects, but very rarely have we been able to portray our own stories about our people and then be celebrated on such a huge level. So this exhibition is pretty, it's pretty epic and awesome for so many reasons. Yeah.
Ka tautoko marika ki ngā kōrero whakamahiki tēnei wānei. Beautiful, meaningful kaupapa ei. I'm also looking forward to seeing and feeling all the 50 tupuna who will be at this exhibition under the Kingii Tuheitia Portraiture Gallery. What an epic and what a journey it is. Tēnā koe i o kōrero e tai. Also, ia koe e noho mai nei tēnei wānei. I'm actually a little bit curious as well. Have you always been a creative person, or did it take this kaupapa for you to come out? Have you always been in the arts in this type of ao?
Well, I've always loved to create and I've always loved to paint. But my nanny, she would say, oh, girl, there's no money in being an artist. Go do something else, so I did. I got a degree in teaching. I was a hairdresser. I worked at Pack and Save, all those sort of things. But it wasn't until I came back to my art that I truly felt fulfilled. And because I love what I do, it's not work. It's just beautiful because I'm able to incorporate all the things that I love and sharing about our culture, the beautiful aspects of Te Ao Māori, and sharing that with the world, because, we all need those positive examples to be able to aspire to or to enrich our lives, rather than seeing all the deficit, all the raru that's happening. And it's important to acknowledge that, but also to move forward and he aha kei tu atu, acknowledging the pain and the raru, but let's not sit there, let's move forward and progress, as a people. So for me, that's with Mahi Toi, that's my contribution, and ki te tautoko that kaupapa.
Beautiful. Other than your ruruhi, other than your kuia, who are some people in your life that have inspired you?
Well, my husband, of course, he inspires me on the daily, because he's not scared to get out there and just do what he's passionate about. So he's a horo mono horo, he's passionate about taonga puoro, but also revitalising our customary practices and teaching. So, he just does it. And so one example is when we both learnt te reo, kōrero te reo, it took me 7 years to be fluent, to be able to communicate in te reo. It took him 2, because he wasn't scared to make the mistakes and just do it, just to say it how he saw it, and then learn, because the people would correct him or tell him, how to say something correctly. And, speaking te reo makes it a living language. We can't just keep it in our head and just keep replying in English. If we can communicate more in te reo, then it's going to survive and flourish. And so, he was a big example for me for that. But just so many examples. My mother, Roma, she fought for women's rights, human rights, and children's rights, family rights for all of her life. And she showed me that, just with determination and the right vision for the people, she was never about herself. It was always about helping others, that you can make things happen. You just really need to have that goal and have your crew, your support crew, and make things happen. So I've been blessed to have so many positive examples throughout my life. So
the Kingii Tuheitia Portraiture Award, one of the 50 finalists whose works will be exhibitioned. Not only that, but you go into the draw to win $20,000. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, I guess where money comes into it, it changes things a little bit. So I haven't really focused on the pūtea side of things. And just celebrating being involved is, for me, really epic, because if we get caught up in the pūtea side, then a bitterness can come in, or an expectation. And really, I think everyone's a winner we're all winners, you know, te iwi Māori as well, to have such a huge exhibition in that space, which is not traditionally a Māori artist space. I think we're definitely all winners in that respect. And the fact that Tuheitia and the Kingitanga are fully backing and supporting this is just wonderful. It's just wonderful to see these kind of worlds coming together and working to celebrate our tupuna. Yeah, it's beautiful.
E kōrero whakamutunga ki ngē rai whakarongorongo ana. You know, any last shout out, any last words of wisdom from Regan, Selwyn, this afternoon? Kia koe te wā.
For those of you who are online, can people see this? I just want to show you where I am. So this is an artist, this is my gallery. And just outside here is the wharf and ocean. So I'm on an artist residency. And I think for me, an important thing for us to remember is when you work with integrity and follow your ngākau, then you can achieve anything. Because if I can make it here into this space, I know that others can too. So kia kaha koutou, yeah, whai atu te rei te kahurangi, ka ahe koutou ki te tai atu. Tēnā koutou.
Tēnā koe e tai. All the very best to you next week, and all the very best to all your whānau listening in right now. No doubt they're all very proud of you, especially your ruruhi.